Hey there, sports fans, and welcome to another episode of Saturdays on Lonis Lane. We're so glad that you've joined us. Hey, before we get started, though, if you don't mind, if you'll hit that subscribe button just below this video, give us a like, and also leave us a comment. We'd greatly appreciate it because we love hearing from you guys. So don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit that comment button because we want to hear from you guys. So this week, week 5 in the books.
Yep.
It was a great week of football. The top 4 games were decided by a touchdown or less.
Yeah.
So SEC play is underway. It is amazing, and it's exciting for all football fans, and this is why we're doing what we're doing. When we look at last week's pick'ems, we did very well, surprisingly. I was expecting a couple of upsets, but problem is if we're picking the same people, we're going to have about the same record. But me and Cody went 7-1. Tyler went 6-2. He decided that Auburn would bounce back from their Oklahoma loss, but instead they lost their second game in a row. Overall, you have I'm at 55-6 for the season through 5 weeks. That number is going to start even out. That those wins and losses are going to start narrowing. Tyler, you're at 53-8, and Cody, you're at 49-12. You did gain a game on Tyler, but me and you went the same record overall this weekend. So, a fun week. Got a lot to break down. Let's go to this week's standout player of the week, and I got a feeling that me and Tyler may have the same player. No, okay, go.
Me and Cody will probably have the same player because he already told me yesterday. I said, I already got my guy. And that's Ole Miss's quarterback, Trinidad. And he did good minus the interception.
Yeah.
He had one little flaw there. He went 23 for 39 on 314 yards passing, 1 TD, and 1 interception with a QBR of 86.9. He rushed 14 times for 71 yards. His longest was 11. He is explosive, and he is dangerous. And I'm seeing now why he won that quarterback job when Austin was supposed to come back this weekend against LSU, and he showed out. I mean, he had a little hiccups here and there during the game, but overall, he was a tremendous quarterback. Played really well, and so it was really fun to watch him play. Actually, I got off work early enough to actually see 90% of the game, so it was the first time actually seeing him play.
So Cody, me and you talked. The quarterback for Ole Miss he wasn't even dressed.
I didn't see him.
I thought he was active.
That doesn't mean he wasn't there. I never saw it. Now, he may have. I was in and out watching games, but I'm not surprised that you picked him. You know, he was a great pick. He was kind of an under-radar pick for me last week, and I thought he had a great game. So backing it up, that's now 3 in a row, if I'm not mistaken. It's 3 in a row that he's had really good weeks.
Yes.
He had 314 yards passing?
Yes.
Great week.
Oh, yeah.
Against an LSU defense that has held them in the game all year because their offense hadn't done much. And we'll talk more about that. But, Cody, who do you got?
I'm going to let you go first. You go right ahead.
So, I am one of those guys who I've been calling defense all year. That's been my go-to. But my problem is I'm a big guy. I played center when I played football. And I'm with John Madden. You want to know what I love about watching a big man score? You can see the big man dance. I love the fact that Alabama, in some way, got the ball to Caden Proctor on a screen pass, which, apparently it's a rush play because it's behind the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
But he got 11 yards, almost scored a touchdown, stepped out, absolutely flat-backed a DB. I love it. That's going to be my play of the game. Now, offensively, in his position, he had an okay game. He pushed some people around. Offensive line for Alabama did very well, kept Ty Simpson upright. They only gave up 1 sack, had, I think, 2 hurry-ups, but for overall, did okay. Now, the question is, can Alabama run the ball? We'll talk more about that, but the fact that he got an opportunity, they tried it twice. They tried 2 plays to get him the ball. I love the fact they were able to give it to them. I love seeing the big guys show off their talents. It's great.
I'm gonna stick with the same game, and even really the same team. If y'all remember correctly, after the Florida State game 1 for Alabama, this kid, if you went on social media and followed anything Alabama at all, or really anything SEC football, this kid was getting raked over the coals for the lack of effort that he showed on a couple of plays. A guy who, if I remember correctly, had a coming out party last year, midway through the year, and had a great season towards the end of the year, and kind of rolled into a starting position this year. But since that first week, and I guess he took a lot of that stuff to heart, Bray Hubbard.
Yes.
Bray Hubbard for Alabama's defense led the team in total tackles. He had 5 solos, he had 9 total tackles, and he had a half a tackle for a loss. He had a pass deflection. I don't know. I mean, if you watch the game closely, and especially with him, he was flying all over the field, and he was hitting people hard. And I was really impressed how he has built week after week after week, and continued with the same intensity no matter who he's playing, even after his character getting called out a little bit there in week 1. And so I'm glad to be able to go defense since you went offense. Not gonna lie, I thought about going with Caden Proctor. Really, I was thinking about going the whole offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that was probably their, from what I've watched, that's probably their cleanest game that they've played up front.
No penalties.
No penalties from them. And so I feel like that was probably their cleanest game as a unit. And they were rotating guys like crazy. Every time I'd look, there was somebody different on the offensive line. And nobody got hurt. They just rotate them. And so, obviously if they're in certain positions, they want to do certain things, that they've got certain guys that can do certain things. So, but Bray Hubbard, I was real impressed with him and how he kind of leads that defense.
So we're going to stick with this game. We're going to talk Georgia-Alabama right off the bat because this is a big game. We were all together watching the game, along with, it seemed like half of America. The TV ratings were astronomical for this game. And just like always, this game delivered. I don't know why the SEC, for some reason, is not keeping this game as a every year game, because it brings the ratings. It brings the money. I know you want to keep everything fair and honest. It's not. Last week they dropped the 3 games every year. The next 4 SEC, it's not fair. There are some teams out there that I'm going to argue, and we've got plenty of time to talk about that. But I see some favoritisms in some teams, and it is what it is. But the SEC office, I don't believe it's gotten it completely fair. But why Georgia and Alabama isn't playing every year is beyond me, because this game was amazing, as always.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if we look at, there are a couple things we want to break down, right? We want to look at quarterback play. We also want to look at the rushing, because Alabama, even though Jam Miller back, did not have an outstanding rushing, where Georgia did amazing. Georgia had a great game. But let's look at the quarterback play. Ty Simpson went 24 for 38. He had 276 yards of passing through 2 touchdowns, no INTs. He also had 4 carries for 12 yards. Gunnar Stockton, about the same, right? He was 13 for 20. Didn't have as many pass attempts. Didn't need to. Georgia ran the ball very well against Alabama. Yep. But he went 13 for 20 with 130 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. He had 5 carries for 22 yards. Ty Simpson, though, looks really good for a guy who's just sat on the sidelines for 3 years.
Yeah. He was able, because he had time, kind of going back to this, that O-line, he was able to sit there, and I feel like he had a pretty good idea going in to each play, at least most of them, how the defense was. And he knew where he could go zone-wise. He gave himself enough time. His offensive line gave him plenty of time to make those reads and was pretty accurate with the ball. Some of those were just some drops that we'll talk about later, but and some of them are throwaways.
Yeah.
Well,
Ty Simpson and Gunnar Stockton both had a touchdown drop.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So, I mean, QBR of 90, again, that's probably 3 weeks in a row now.
Above 90.
Above 90. I saw a thing today where the Heisman bet, and he's now at number 2 spot in the number 2 slot, which is kind of surprising. I mean, I know he's playing well right now.
But you do this against. They had a bad week in week 1.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama ran into a buzzsaw, a Florida State team that was kind of unknown because you bring in so many unknown players with a quarterback. You got wide receivers you had no clue about. You have 2 coordinators that are different from what you saw last year, which we're going to talk about Florida State tonight. So if you like Florida State, if you like Miami, this is your episode because we're going to get deep into that game in our pick'ems because that's going to be our game of the week. But you have Ty Simpson, who outside of week 1 has had a better year than almost anybody at the quarterback position with pass completions, yardage per game. It's been unreal.
You know, and we said this Saturday night at the house, and when we were watching the game, you know, Ty was a dual threat quarterback coming out of high school. You know, number 2, 5-star, like the second quarterback in his class, and he took off when he needed to. Now he only had 12 yards, but he didn't really have to run the ball. I mean, he had the 1 touchdown for 5 yards, I think.
Yeah.
He had 1 touchdown for 5 yards. He had another rush where he went 6 or 7 yards for a first down and got down. He slid on that one, protected himself, which
you got to.
Yeah, you got to.
So I mean, I think Ty had another good game. Really impressed with what he's doing and the velocity and the quick decision making and getting rid of that ball. I think that's pretty impressive.
So Tyler, another thing we just mentioned is the rushing. Georgia ran for 227 yards, and a lot of that was outside. They were getting nowhere up the middle, but they broke 30, 40-yard plays on the outside. Great rush. Like you have an Alabama team who's defending up the middle and then gets blown out on the outside. Where Alabama's rushing was 117 yards, and you were expecting to see that a little bit higher with Jam Miller back. You really want that to really help your passing game. Now, you look at these numbers, you think, man, why does your passing game need any help? If you're able to rush for another 200 yards, no, not another 200, but if you're able to rush for 200 yards, you've got to respect both the rush and the pass. But Georgia was able to do it with 7 guys and help out on your outside. So, rushing, how do you see it for both teams?
Well, so for Alabama, you got Jam Miller, who's coming back. His first game of the season.
Didn't carry as much as you expect.
Didn't carry as much. Kevin Riley was in there a lot more. He was more of a blocking guy. He blocked a lot of the plays we saw. You were like, hey, there goes Jam. And I'm like, no, that's Riley. Their numbers are really close, 26 and 28. So I was expecting him to kind of just work his way in, kind of get into a routine. You throw yourself out there against a Georgia defense, your first game, back from an injury, you have that in your head like, hey, I have a broken collarbone just a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. I got to respect that. Like, I got to respect, like, hey, I could easily break it again.
Yeah.
Georgia's defense is a hard-hitting defense. So
collarbone's not a hard thing to break anyways. 5 pounds of pressure will break that collarbone.
So I didn't expect him to run 100 yards rushing this week. So that kind of was okay. Jermaine Burton, I thought he would get more carries out of the backfield, but he was more of a wide receiver target.
You see him
35
mainly with jet sweeps and things like that. There was one where he got, of course, it doesn't count as rush; it counts as passing yards. Just a little toss in front, and he goes around the corner.
So I wasn't too worried about it. Let Miller get his feet under him, get a little wet, he'll be fine.
How do you feel about Georgia? And then, you also got to look at Alabama's defense. How they just gave up that outside corner.
They did. They didn't set it too well, and they adjusted in the second half. I think most of there was a few rushes there in the second half that they broke, but for the most part, Alabama's defense was able to contain them in the second half. That's what I was worried about because I saw them. I had a buddy of mine, and I told him, I said, don't text me until Sunday at 12. And he was texting me at halftime. And I told him, I said, listen, you got a whole nother half. Y'all's running game has killed Alabama in the first half. I was worried about Alabama's defense not able to make that change, and Georgia runs like 400 yards on the ground. But they were able to contain them in the second half. The only hiccup, I think, with the running back core was Frazier with the fumble there on the inside their 20. So you gave up the ball there to Alabama.
Which Alabama only gets 3 off of. So good job, Georgia defense.
Yes. Georgia defense. I mean, they made big stops when they needed them.
Made big stops. And Alabama did not score in the second half.
At all.
No. So a couple big things, Ty. I'm going to jump in on this. But Chauncey, the running back that had not really had much of a showing up until Saturday, 12 carries for 119 yards. He had a long of 43. They had two runs of 43 yards. And they were just getting that edge. And I'm not sure what Alabama's defense was really doing because they were collapsing inside.
Well, you had one where it was reverse.
Yes.
And our outside linebacker, instead of keeping contained and waiting, got balled in and then...
But the one thing that we talked about last week that was going to be a big key for Georgia and for Alabama's defense was containing the run game of Gunner. And he only had 5 rushes. I was really surprised that they didn't try to... Now, and they didn't necessarily have to because they were able to do it with their running backs. But, you would think that they were going to try to get him involved more.
2-step drops and then find a hole and go.
Yeah, and I was really surprised that they didn't do that more. I'm not sure I don't know how much it would have made a difference because, like I said, the running backs were doing enough. But no, I was a little surprised. I am extremely impressed with their running game. I like Georgia's running game.
And I've been saying this. This is what Georgia wants to do. They want to slow down the game. This game that's been fast-paced and the tempo has increased year after year in the SEC. They want to slow it down. They want to keep their defense off the field. And with keeping their defense off the field, they've been able to their defense has gotten even better. You looked at even what Alabama has been able to do. What Alabama was able to do this weekend. Alabama was slow playing it, trying to run the ball. They took a couple of shots downfield, and this is what I want to get into, drop passes.
Yeah.
Ryan Williams, wide open, hits his hands in stride, and bounces out. Mm-hmm. Same thing happens to Georgia. Now, say it doesn't happen to Georgia. This is a different game because Georgia's happened in the second half.
And they go ahead.
They go ahead. They're in the lead. Alabama's play calling in the second half isn't as aggressive. It's almost like we're playing with the lead. Let's just keep it. Once again, you're on the road. How bad is Ryan Williams? Because what did Ryan Williams end up with? I think they didn't target him much after that.
He had... it doesn't really say. It just says 5 receptions for 43 yards. But I think he was only targeted 8-9 times in general. And after that drop pass, I think it kind of was like, all right.
I don't think he dropped anything after that.
He didn't drop any.
So he's only targeted 6 times total.
No, he was targeted a couple more times. He did drop a few passes because when they were showing it, he had seven targets, 5 catches. So he at least dropped 2. I can't remember if he dropped the third one or not. Pretty sure he dropped 2 though.
Well, it doesn't. I mean, it could be on those. It could be it's just a bad throw, and he didn't drop it. I think
he was targeted 7
times. Yeah, it was in his way. I think a big thing. We're talking about drops, but
you're looking at the first drive of the game.
Yeah,
and you hit that. That's a big play.
Yes, I mean that's a. I mean, they ended up scoring. Alabama ended up
scoring.
They did,
but it's a perfect pass right in the hands. You hate to see it.
After the year he had against them last year.
Yes.
And you're like, oh no, he's going to do it again. But, one thing that I noticed with Ryan Williams, and I watched him a lot after that drop, they ran the ball behind him the next play. And guess what happens? He doesn't block. He just kind of stands there. Then they do it again, and he doesn't get out quick enough, and the guy makes a tackle. And so I feel like his snaps, I didn't see him on the field a whole lot. I mean, there were times where he was on the field, but he wasn't on the field every down like he normally is.
Mm-hmm.
After kind of the lack of effort with blocking and dropping that pass. Now, like I said, I think he had one catch that was kind of crucial on a third down for 18 yards down the field, and so he still made plays, but you always have those sophomore slumps.
So is it a mental thing? Because we're not talking about this 17-year-old anymore. Like he was expecting to have a breakout year. He's now 18. He's had a year under his belt, and Wisconsin had a great game. And then a drop here in a very crucial time. Like you're trying to set a tone, and you drop it.
Yeah, I think it is a mental thing, but it's also just a lack of focus, attention to detail, and I think, it happens. Drops happen. We kind of speculated that maybe the lights hit him. He may have not seen it because it was late.
Ball coming from behind you.
Yeah.
There's no lights behind you. Straight down the field.
Yeah.
Don't give me the excuse of the lights.
He was late. He was late coming down to follow the ball in. So it's one of those things where I think it's more just a lack of attention to detail and lack of focus. But a lot,
But luckily, happens to Georgia too. In a very crucial part of the game, like I said, they do take the lead. They possibly go on to win the game because their defense gets very, very, you're not going to beat us. Mm-hmm. So like I said, they didn't score a point the second half. And I kept seeing Alabama doesn't need to be so excited. They didn't score any of the second half. Doesn't matter. They scored enough for to win the game in the first half. But it is concerning that, if Georgia does take the lead there for Alabama fans, can Alabama, do what they can? Now, they were able to do what they can to end the game, but
the biggest thing in this game was third down efficiency.
Mm-hmm. It is
by far. 13 for 19 for Alabama, 2 for 8 for Georgia. So I think that's the biggest difference in that game. That and Kirby, for some reason, not kicking the field goal there to tie the ball game up.
Coach, what do you do at home?
What am I doing at home?
What do you do at home?
I'm watching the game.
You go for the win at home.
Oh, yeah.
Go for the tie. So
well, it was still early enough in the fourth quarter.
I get it.
That you feel like obviously he's going for it, and the play call was kind of weird too. But
it's fourth and short.
Yeah, but you throw it.
2 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
So
Alabama makes a good play.
I believe that was Hubbard that made the play too, if I'm not mistaken.
And so.
But you've been beating them outside. Mm-hmm. It's easy to sit here and be a
armchair quarterback,
armchair
coach.
Yeah. I'm not upset with the play call because you've beat them out there so much. You got a guy come up and make a fantastic open field tackle. Mm-hmm. So that I'm not worried about. There is a lot of questions. Why do you not kick it there? But I go back to what you always say. At home, go for the win. On the road, go for the tie.
I think that I see that more as late game, where you're going for one or going for two.
You're in the fourth quarter.
He knew he had five. It was over 5 minutes left in the game. He felt
6 something.
And his defense had played really well. You knew you were probably getting the ball back.
Yeah.
If you did what you're supposed to. So I'm not sure. I'll probably take the points. Me as a person, I would probably take the points.
Well, we've talked a lot about this game. It was a huge game, big game. Let's switch over. Another big game.
Fun game.
Undefeated LSU.
Yep.
Undefeated Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
At Ole Miss. After we did our filming last week, it came out about Lane Kiffin's daughter dating the middle linebacker for LSU. It's just a funny little story, right? Yeah. But
LSU loses this week. They lose their starting defensive end,
mm-hmm.
starting running back,
mm-hmm.
and so those are two pretty important guys. Your LSU, your defense is stout already, but you lose that guy.
So Ole Miss wins 24-19.
Mm-hmm.
It is a 5-point difference.
Mm-hmm.
But let's look at the stats, because if you don't know the score, it looks very lopsided. This game should have been totally different. LSU had 197 yards passing and only 59 on the ground.
Yeah.
That's not a lot of total offense. But Ole Miss, on the other hand, your quarterback who you picked, 314 yards through the air, 170 yards on the ground, and yet they only were able to put up 24 points. So great job LSU's defense for bend don't break. But LSU's offense, and we've talked about it,
they are sputtering.
Still not ticking.
They're sputtering along.
Yeah.
So let's look at it. LSU, who do they have next?
They're on a bye week.
They're on a bye week, and then they come back and they've got
South Carolina, Vandy, Texas A&M.
So South Carolina struggling,
but their offense is good enough, and their defense could play. That could be a toss up. That really could.
Vandy coming off. Vandy plays Alabama, and then the next week they play. Is it a bye before LSU?
Who?
Vandy.
Vandy, yes, is a bye.
And then they've got LSU.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on what happens this weekend, it could be a big momentum into LSU, or we lost Alabama, now we've got to
sulk on it for a week or 2 weeks.
Yeah, you've got 2 weeks before you can get back on the field. And then you've got Texas A&M, who dadgummit looked really good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
struggle a little bit here and there, but they still end up getting the win.
But I think what Ole Miss does offensively is going to be tough for a lot of teams, a lot of defenses.
Yeah, you put up that kind of yardage, that's unreal. And we praise Lane Kiffin on the show. He's a great coach, great developer. I don't know what happened to him at USC, but he's that's not the same coach now.
No.
So great job, Lane Kiffin. Great job, Ole Miss. LSU, you still control your own destiny. Georgia, you still control your own destiny. So don't worry about the first loss. But there are a lot of questions with LSU, because you're getting into a heart of your schedule that could go awry, because not only after Texas A&M, you've got Alabama coming up behind that, who just beat Georgia in Athens. Do they play Oklahoma? LSU?
Yes, last game of the year.
They've got Oklahoma, who will have Mateer back. So
let's talk about Ole Miss though. Penalties, I think, were a big factor of them only scoring 24, or even, let's just say, even giving up 19.
So they
had 14 penalties for 109 yards.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. You giving up 100 yards of penalties,
and
by theory, you're losing that game.
And your total of 494 yards.
Yeah, 484 yards.
484 yards. Take 100 of it off. It's 384.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, in theory, if you're getting 100 yards taken off of offense or defense, whatever it may be, you're supposed to lose that game.
Yep.
And LSU had 7 for 78.
What was the turnover ratio on this? Because I know Nussmeier had at least one interception.
2-1. So Ole Miss had 2. So I'm guessing one was probably a fumble and an interception thrown. And then interception. Yeah, it's a lot fumble for a loss and an interception thrown. So you had 2-1 turnovers too. So you take half of those.
Lose that game. Losing that.
You losing that. How
LSU's defense? I mean, it just kind of goes back to that.
Yeah, they've got to be able to stay off. LSU's offense have got to keep their defense off the field a little bit more. But like I said, to just give up 24 points, like I said, it's that bend don't break mentality. So you've got something to build on, LSU. But that offense, if it doesn't start clicking, I don't think LSU fans are going to hold on to Les Miles. Not Les Miles. Oh, wow.
Old school.
Brian Kelly.
Brian Kelly.
What is Les Miles up to nowadays? He might be coming to the SEC.
Anywho, great game. It was fun to watch. Kiffin's boyfriend got hurt there at the end of the game. We pointed that out. So.
Well, there's video of him puking in the first quarter.
Yeah.
There's video of him
too much at the
puking
Kiffin house.
Yeah, that's what they said. What did the Kiffins feed him for lunch the other day or something?
He threw up on the field. Like, they have video.
Yeah.
It was funny.
So, let's go to the game that you lost.
Yeah, let's go to the A&M.
Let me tell you something. I'm high on A&M, and I don't know why, but their defense has looked terrible all year until they run into Auburn. Now, we may just see what Jackson Arnold is really about. This is what we saw last year. It's what we kind of expect to see from him this year. Auburn they only had 125 yards passing. Jackson Arnold went 18 for 33. His QBR was 35.1, the worst of the weekend.
Yeah.
The worst of the weekend. And only had 52 yards on the ground. So it's not that Jackson Arnold just couldn't pass it either. They couldn't run the ball. They couldn't do anything against Texas A&M. And this is not the same Texas A&M defense that has played the first 4 weeks of the year, because they have given up points. Mm-hmm. They gave up over 40 points to Notre Dame, still came out on top. They gave out 20-plus points to subpar teams. So the fact that their defense came up and said, hey, here we go. We're gonna play, and only gave up 10 points to an Auburn team that's been putting up some points outside the Oklahoma game is very impressive.
Also, back to what we were just talking about with penalties. 13 penalties for 119 yards for A&M, 10 penalties for 69 yards for Auburn. I mean, that swings. You know, that's probably how Auburn kept them just to 16. Did A&M, I won't say shot himself in the foot for style points here, but I mean 119 yards and 1 turnover to Auburn 0.
Yeah, that turnover hurt them there at the end. It was really just 16-3, and then they get that pick and score, I think, on the next play to make it 16-10. But yeah, I think, I mean, you still got to look at A&M's offense though. 16 points.
They had one of the most balanced games, running and throwing the ball as you can. 207 yards through the air, 207 yards on the ground. Yeah. It was very balanced. It was. And only put up 16 points.
Auburn's third down efficiency was they didn't get a third down conversion at all.
0 for 13 first downs.
0 for 13, and A&M was 3 for 14. So neither one of those did great on third down. But you're right, they were very balanced. But once again, Auburn's defense played well enough to keep them within.
They're in reach. The game. It's a 6-point game. Like I said, all these games were within a touchdown of each other that we're talking about, and it's just interesting that we're looking at this game and it's only 16-10 because you've got 414 yards for one team, while the other team doesn't even break 200 yards total offense.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So Auburn, I'm kind of worried for you. What's their schedule look like after this week? I know they don't play this weekend, so they've lost 2 in a row. Don't play this weekend, and then
They got Georgia,
Missouri, Arkansas.
But they kind of go on a 2-game. I won't say.
Can you lose? Do you lose 4 games in a row right here before you get to Arkansas? I mean, Georgia's no pushover, and Mizzou looks really good.
Yeah,
Yep.
It's hard to say. I think
you got to see how Georgia responds, right?
Yeah,
Georgia plays Kentucky this week.
Yeah.
After coming off a heartbreaking loss at home.
Yep.
We'll see. Jackson, like I said, this is a Jackson Arnold we kind of expected. So the first 3 games we did not.
The one that we heard the rumors that, hey, coaches, let's be easy on him in practice. He's going to be fine. This is kind of the guy we were thinking. Yeah, I agree.
And this is a Hugh Freeze year that could potentially be, job ending if you can't turn it around. This is not what the Auburn faithful want, right?
Right.
But A&M, still undefeated, still looking good. Their schedule starts taking a turn for the worse, too. You have they play Mississippi State this weekend, who we're going to talk about here in just a second. And then it goes to
Florida, which their defense is strong.
Very good. Yep.
And they had a bye week this week, but then they'll be back. And they've got, who are they coming off?
Florida?
Florida will be
They play Texas.
Oh, yeah, they'll be coming off Texas, so that could be an interesting game. But, and then they got Arkansas and LSU. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting. You're right.
They play Arkansas after Florida? A&M?
Yep, we got Florida, then Arkansas. Could be interesting there. We'll see how that goes.
Could be. Let's get into this game. This was a fun game. Tennessee, Mississippi State. And let me tell you something. This was in Mississippi State. First time Tennessee's been in Mississippi State since 2017. And it was a nail-biter for the Volunteer fans. And Cody, I was worried. I made the comment, I hope you get to go home tonight. If Emily's team would have lost to Mississippi State, we may have to put a mat out for you at the house.
Yeah, I told him. I said, "Hey, Cody."
I felt okay because I picked Tennessee.
Yeah, I think that's
if I wouldn't have picked Tennessee
and they lost,
and they would have lost, then I probably could have been calling somebody asking for a bet. But it's funny we talk about this, and Emily is a very vocal fan watching the game. She gets real excited. She coaches flag football, so she understands the game really well, and gets really into the game. So at about 6 o'clock, well, really about 5:30 when we started cooking, I left and I didn't see her until after the game was over. I didn't even talk to her until after the game was over. So she said, "I'm glad I was home by myself so I could yell at the TV as much as I wanted to." And she did, I'm sure.
I didn't hear her outside, but I also don't live. I mean, we all live pretty close proximity-wise, but we're far enough away. We didn't hear her screaming. But this was a good game. It was 41-34. Mississippi State, Tennessee, they go into overtime. Double overtime, is it not? Or is it just that single overtime?
Single overtime.
Let me tell you something. I don't know about y'all, but this quarterback that Tennessee has been phenomenal all year long. He threw for 335 yards. They ran for another 136 yards on the ground, while State, passing-wise, did not look as good. They only had 180 yards passing, while they had 198 yards on the ground, and put up 34 points against Tennessee. Now, it is at home. A lot of cowbells, very loud stadium, but I'm very impressed with Mississippi State. I did not expect them to I expect them to be in the game, right? But they had the opportunity to win. Tennessee had to score late to even take it to overtime, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So, great job, Mississippi State. Is there any concern here, or just great game?
It was a great game. I think Tennessee is a really good offense. I think they kind of got exposed a little bit on the ground with their defense, but I think any quarterback that has a little bit of a talent with an arm will be very successful in that offense.
Josh Heupel is very much like Lane Kiffin and able to develop and play to the strengths of his quarterback.
And he's got a really good one. And I think I was a little surprised when I see this number that it was only 136 yards on the ground. Tennessee normally runs the ball really well, but now they were playing from behind a little bit. A good bit of the game, if I'm not mistaken, and so they probably had to throw it a little bit more. But when you've got Brazel back there, who had a heck of a game, and it's kind of one of those things. Well, I'm just going to throw it up to him, and let him go get it.
So Mississippi State is better than advertised. Listen. I know they lost this game, ruined their perfect season. But you've been on the road. You've beat Arizona State. You've played Tennessee. You took them down the wire. Gave them all that they wanted. They had to take it in overtime. Mm-hmm. I'm in love with this Mississippi State.
Join the Cowbells over here with us.
Absolutely. Who is it? Who's the guy that plays Elf?
Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell. And more cowbell. Saturday Night Live. Got it. I love it. It's great. It's great for college football, and to see a team that like we've harped on this. You lose your coach unexpectedly, in a death, and then you go 2-10 the next year with a lot of people who left. To have this much success, man, if they're not playing your team, you're cheering for Mississippi State. I feel like you are.
I'm a big believer in Jeff Levy, and did you see their helmets? Did you see their uniforms Saturday?
The MSU
pretty sweet.
helmets, the white helmets, and the
I don't know about y'all, but I love the slant MSU logo on their helmets with the white.
Kind of old school.
Man, they look good.
They look sharp.
And just talking about their stadium being at home, Emily and I went to watch a basketball game at Mississippi State. We kind of want to go to all the SEC schools and watch some sporting event there, and so we were able to go watch a basketball game there. And their basketball arena is pretty sweet, but it was neat to go and kind of see the football stadium and the campus and go around and see it. I was pretty impressed and see it on TV. It's pretty neat. It's not the biggest stadium.
Nope.
It's really not, but it's just a neat kind of atmosphere.
And
think about how loud it would be if it was closed in all the way around.
Yeah, you got that scoreboard right there.
You got it open.
And if you have, I would say probably about another 30,000 could fit where the scoreboard is, because I'm currently looking at a picture of it. You put about another 30,000 seats in there, you're getting to about 90,000 cowbells.
It's great.
Boy, that would be a loud stadium. And nothing bad about Tennessee. They played a heck of a game. Mississippi State is somebody to watch the rest of the season. I think they go and they give A&M a hard time. And
you get to pick that game later, guys.
Yeah, we get to pick this game here in a little bit. And
almost game of the week.
Almost the game of the week. And up to this point, I think Mississippi State should have been snuck into that top 25.
Absolutely. Rank the Cowbells.
They have done really well. Granted, they've only had one quality win against Arizona State as a top 25 team. But I think the flip from last year to this year is a statement for Mississippi State and that coach they have there.
Yeah.
And for them to go into OT with Tennessee, it's going to be exciting for the rest of the season for Mississippi State fans. So don't worry at all. I think y'all guys will, if not this year, your majority of your guys are going to come back next year because you are still young.
Very young.
So I think next year, I'm not skipping a year, but Mississippi State could be dangerous 2 years, for the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I know Georgia beat Tennessee, but I still think Tennessee's probably a top 4 team in the SEC. Mm-hmm. And you took them down. You took them to overtime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You made them sweat a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You made Emily scream at the TV a little bit.
Yeah, you're talking a top that's very heavy with Georgia. Now you throw Alabama back into that top ranking. Tennessee, Oklahoma, Texas A&M,
Texas,
Ole Miss.
Maybe Texas.
Mm-hmm.
We'll
Texas,
see.
let me tell you, Texas is on the brinks for me. I
it's
can't,
a teeter-totter here, boys.
Can't
So
trust
Texas.
them.
Vandy,
and Missouri.
up there. I mean,
It's going to work out.
SEC is heavy this year, and you never know what's going to happen week in and week out. And it's been proven this past week. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But we know what happened today.
Yeah. Well, so we have our first firing in the SEC, and no Florida fans. It is not Billy Napier. Arkansas goes up to South Bend, and they get beat. And I didn't expect Arkansas to win, but I expected it to be a little bit better. It looked like a sub, Division II school that Notre Dame played.
Yeah.
And ultimately, Sam Pittman has lost his job, and you hate to hear it because we like Sam Pittman around here. Tyler thinks if they go 6-6, he's gonna keep his job. Obviously not. They're 2-2.
I think so. Yeah.
2-2, 2-3. And he is out as a head coach of Arkansas. And the problem with this is I don't see that job being a job that people are jumping after. So the question is, do you? And I know we've joked around. We're going to need a motorcycle parking space for the head coach now, yes. Bobby Petrino. Have they mentioned anything of who may take the job, or is it who the interim may be?
He is the one taking interim. He is going to be the interim.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Bobby Petrino.
Yeah, he's gonna be the interim, and he has already expressed interest
in coming back
and being the head of the future as well.
Just got to stay away from the students.
Yes.
Female.
Well, yes. But I would be interested to know who.
Outside
of this, I want some names. Let's throw some names out there.
You already heard me say it before the podcast started. I think Gus is going to try to get his foot back in the SEC, and this is not how he does it. Or if Hugh Freeze doesn't turn it around at Auburn, I think he goes there. If they are to fry or refuse, I think if Gus Malzahn's back in the SEC either way next year. That's just me though.
There's just not a lot of attraction at Arkansas. Your facilities are outdated. Your boosters are on the lower end of the SEC. It's just not an attractive spot. And I get Bobby Petrino being there.
You can't say on the lower end.
Yeah, you can't really.
Who's Dallas Cowboys owner?
Oh, yeah, Jerry Jones.
He could make it happen.
He's got enough problems of his own.
Well, yeah, that's true. and they're never mind. We'll talk about that later.
So let's look at the schedule. The rankings have came out this week. 10 SEC teams are in the top 25. So you minus Mississippi State, Kentucky, South Carolina, Florida is out. Who else? So Auburn is out. You've got one more.
Is Missouri in yet?
Missouri's in. Florida, Auburn, South Carolina, Arkansas, Mississippi State, and who's the other guys? Kentucky.
So
I got them.
Great showing for the SEC. I just what we were talking about. It's very, very heavy in the SEC. So that's definitely going to change here in the next few weeks. Some big matchups. Texas has got to play Florida, which we're about to pick. It's going to be a tough game for Texas, especially with Florida's defense and Texas offense not working well. Florida's defense may win a ball game here if they can get some points defensively. It may be a low-scoring game, and a pick six or a fumble in the red zone may be a difference in the ball game.
This is the week that both Texas and Florida have had a bye. So they both got a chance to get a little healthy.
Yeah.
They both had a chance to really game plan. So it's going to be interesting when we pick that game.
So let's pick. Let's go ahead and pick. You've got Kentucky, who's got a coach on the hot seat, and Georgia, who's coming off a heartbreaking loss to Alabama. This is in Athens. Tyler, who do we got?
I think Georgia comes out and does what Georgia does and plays mad. And recent times, if Georgia loses or Alabama loses, they come back the next week ticked off.
Yeah. And
100% Georgia is going to win this game.
I'm going with Georgia. There's no way Georgia loses 2 in a row. They're too good. They did what they did against Tennessee. They almost came back and beat Alabama after going down 14-0 in the first quarter. So absolutely Georgia all the way.
I'm going to go Georgia, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than we expect. Okay. Here's the reason. One of their biggest rivals is the next week in Auburn.
Who's struggling?
Could they look ahead? I know they just got beat in a close, hard-fought match, but could they be looking ahead a little bit? I think Kirby does a good job probably of trying to keep them focused, but in the back of those 18 to 23-year-old minds, they're probably looking forward to that next game. So I think it ends up being a lot closer than we might anticipate, but I think Georgia.
So all three go Georgia.
Yep.
This is an early game. Texas versus Florida. Is it a 12 o'clock or 3:30 game? Texas versus Florida.
3:30.
3:30 game, and it's in the swamp. Fall has not hit. Now, I understand it's Texas. Fall hasn't hit there either. Both have a bye week. This game, I'm excited for this game. I know 3 weeks ago we're thinking, wow, Florida got beat by USF.
Mm-hmm.
But Texas really just hasn't shown me anything. And I know coming out ranked number 1 in the AP poll, opened the season, struggle. I'm going to go ahead and make my pick because I don't have a lot of confidence in either one of these teams.
No.
But I definitely don't have a lot of confidence in Arch Manning right now. I'm sorry, you lost a lot of respect from me when you haven't shown anything all year. You run over a defensive line, a defensive back with Sam Houston and stand over him like you've been somebody. Give me a break. I'm going Florida. I'm taking a chance. I'm going for the upset. I think Florida wins this. Remember, this is about the time Billy Napier saved his job last season, and I don't think coming off a bye. DJ has another opportunity to get healthy. I'm going with Florida. Call me crazy. I'm picking the Gators.
So, talking about saving his job.
Cody's over here trying to buy a game here.
He's trying to buy a game from us. So, yes, last year coming off the bye, Billy Napier saved his job, saved this somewhat of a season for Florida. Is this the game that he's able to save the season again off a bye? Can he go out there and outcoach Steve Sarkisian? I don't think so. I really don't think
Not
so.
so fast.
Not so fast. I really don't think so. I mean, you got more explosive players at Texas than Florida. I think Texas defense is going to be able to hold DJ Lagway. He's going to get sacked a couple of times. He's going to get hit hard, and he's going to hurt him. He's fragile as it is. I think Arch has a semi-decent game. I don't think it's 300 yards passing. I think it's about 250 yards passing. And the game is close. Don't get me wrong. It's a 7-point game in Texas' favor.
If you can go ahead and quote me on this. If Billy Napier doesn't win this game, he's the
gone.
next guy to get fired.
Yes. I don't think he'll save his season after this week.
Cody, you looking up something? What's the spread on this game while he's looking?
I thought he was like... It's a 7-point... Oh, come on now. 7.5 favorite in Texas.
You going into a swamp 7.5-point favorite?
Yes.
Okay.
Going into the swamp. Sorry, Florida.
Would you pick the spread on this?
I would pick the spread.
So you think Texas would win 7.5?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I'm gonna mark this down so I don't forget, because I know there are some fans out there that says, "Hey, why don't y'all pick the spread?"
I don't want to pick the spread.
The cupcake games. He did say the cupcake games. Pick the spread. Make it more interesting.
My pastor, he went over this weekend picking the spread.
We didn't get it to Brian's picks.
That's okay. I don't remember all that Brian picked. I know he lost 2, but I think there's a third one in there that he lost. I've got to go back and watch the film on that. We thank you, Brian, for coming out. We do appreciate it. We'll have more. Next week, we'll definitely have somebody out with Cody being out. But Cody, Texas, Florida.
This is really a tough one. I've mentioned Uncle John, and he listens every week. He sends me a message and talks about it, and so I'm giving him a shout out again. Thanks for the continued support and listening. But he's a big Florida fan. I was looking up. Yes, I was looking something up. I was looking up who the backup quarterback was for Florida. True freshman who won the job. Jones the second, and I would butcher his name because I've never heard it. His first name. DJ had been in a boot from what I had read. This was last week. He was in the boot after a game.
But he's been...
I know he's been hurt. So it's probably been a weekly thing where he wears the boot to kind of stay healthy. And that's very possible. He's had an extra week. I think Sarkisian has had too much time to game plan for Florida. I think the defense plays well enough to completely shut out possibly Florida. And so I'm going Texas.
So you talk about game planning. Steve Sarkisian is one of the best game planners.
Yes.
It means absolutely nothing if you can't execute on the field.
100%. No, I agree. And let's be honest, this was a tough one. This was really hard because I want to go Florida. I really do because I feel like we all kind of were high on them at the beginning of the year. Some things have not went their way. Their defense has played really well. I don't know if, like you, I don't know if I can trust Florida's offense.
Like I said, I can't trust either one of them, but...
Yeah.
You gotta
pick.
But if you're right, though, I mean, Florida's defense is going to be better. It's going to be better.
Yeah.
You're right.
This is a game I think Alabama has circled.
Yep.
You lose to them last year in their house. Their quarterback has talked a lot of smack.
Yes.
Rightfully so. He deserves it.
Absolutely.
He gets every opportunity to do it.
He has shown it.
Vanderbilt is undefeated.
Yep.
Coming into this game. They come to Tuscaloosa. Who do we got, Cody?
I just think Alabama continues to build on what they've been building on. I think they may try to focus on the ground game a little more this week.
Got to contain the quarterback.
You do. You got to have it contained. Now we heard in the second half that Quayshawn Roussel was hurt. He had ankle surgery. Don't know the extent. Don't know how long he's going to be out, but he will be out for this game. So that's our outside linebacker, our Wolf guy.
You've got a lineman who will miss the first half
half
after a targeting call.
And so there's a lot of things there. I'm going Alabama. I just think that they're going to build on that too much.
So you always worry about coming off a big game with Georgia, kind of hitting a lull. This is a great setup for another Vanderbilt win.
Mm-hmm.
Question is, can Alabama contain the quarterback? They struggled for years, even under Saban, with quarterbacks that are mobile.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Alabama wins the game, but don't be surprised if Vandy's quarterback has a game of his life, just like he did last year.
Contain him and Stowers, the tight end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you do that, Alabama really takes off with this game.
Mm-hmm.
Defensively, Vanderbilt will give up points. But can your defense slow them down? That's how they get you. They score quick, they score fast, and then their defense has a little bit easier time because their offense is trying to do way too much. Keep it simple, run the ball, open up your passing lanes, but I have Alabama winning.
Like we said, we don't like to talk about spread. The spread's 10.5.
At least it's not 14.5. Alabama on the road, 14.5. I'm picking the road team.
I'm
picking the home team.
Also, depending on what color shirt Kalen DeBoer wears.
That's right.
That was. I was sitting there looking at my phone during the game, and everybody was like, "Black shirt, we're going to win. Black shirt, we're going to win. Black shirt, we're going to win." Depending on the shirt.
The players have let him know that he has to wear the
black
hoodie
he has
from
to
now
wear the black. So
I think the fans are over the fact that he's not wearing a collared shirt because he wore a collared shirt, crimson, at Florida State.
And got beat.
So
I wouldn't say I'd take the spread, but I do think Alabama, coming off a big win against Georgia, they got the momentum at this time, and they're just going to be able to roll on it. And I like I said, I don't take the spread on this one, but I think Alabama backs up from the loss of last year against Vanderbilt.
This is a kind of a cupcake game.
Mm-hmm.
Not really. I mean, Kent State.
Or 1-3.
I get it. They to start the season, they had high hopes, right?
Yeah.
I know they started the season. They went to Ireland.
Did Kent State go to Ireland?
It was Kent State and Iowa State, or was it just Kansas?
That was Kansas.
They
played Murat.
Okay, so Kent State, Oklahoma. Tyler, who do we got?
Oklahoma. I mean, there's no really talk about it. Oklahoma's going to win. The spread's 45.5, and I'll take the spread on
really
that.
Kind of the only just give me game, Oklahoma.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of quarterback run.
Yeah, because you don't have John Mateer.
Yeah, so never mind. I don't take the 45. We don't have John Mateer out there.
Yes, I'd still take the spread, but yes, Oklahoma.
Yeah. This is going to be an interesting game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested in hearing your picks. It is Mississippi State that just took Tennessee to the wire. You've got Texas A&M, who just came off a big win with Auburn. It is at Texas A&M. They play at Kyle Field, 12th man.
At 7:30.
At 7:30 at night.
Mm-hmm.
Cody, who you got?
Hey, you would make me go first.
I'll go first.
Well, I've been going.
Listen, no, I'll go first. I'll take this because Cody's probably going to take the game up. He wants to take the game up. I haven't been high on A&M. I've picked against A&M for the past few weeks, and those are my losses. So I think it's about time that I go to A&M. It's at Kyle Field. It's the 12th man. It's a loud stadium. Mississippi State plays in a loud stadium, absolutely, but Kyle Field is really loud as well.
No cowbell.
No cowbell. But I think A&M it's going to be like it's going to go in overtime. It's going to be pushed to the wire like they did against Tennessee. I really want to go State.
Calling a shot in overtime there.
Overtime.
I'm
two weeks in a row.
I think Mississippi State takes A&M to overtime, and I don't think it's one. I think it's two.
Cody,
where the 2-point conversion has to be played.
I'm going to go ahead and try to pick a game here. I think I'm going to try to get one up on you. I feel like Mississippi State's defense is a little bit stronger. I was not impressed with the score and the production that they had against Auburn. I honestly think Mississippi State's a better team than Auburn. Yes, it is at home. Yes, I know this, but I think I'm going out here. I'm going to call my shot. Mississippi State's going to win.
So Cody's picking for another unbeaten to go down.
Mm-hmm. I also think A&M's going to be distracted by the cheerleaders in actual cheerleading uniforms.
What?
There's no female cheerleaders at A&M. They're all guys in suits.
Yeah.
So the team's going to be distracted by the girls on the sideline over there.
You pick. What you got?
I've got Texas A&M. I think Texas A&M wins. I've been high on them. I know I've been high on Mississippi State, and I love you Bulldogs. But I've called all your games correctly. Matter of fact, I've only lost 6 games, so I've called very, very well on these. But I'm going Texas A&M. So, game of the week. ACC fans, here you go. I've had several people ask me about it. JC Groves, this is your game. Your name was mentioned of bringing on this week, and then Florida State goes down, and I'm kind of glad we didn't have you on the show. We love you. We think a lot about you. We'll have you on the show, especially come playoff time. But here it is. It's Miami at Florida State. Miami at Florida State. 7:30 game. ABC. What we got?
I'll go here. I think Florida State got caught in a trap game where they were looking ahead. It was a Friday night game, so it's a little.
They go down 14-0.
Yeah, it was a little off kilter for them, anyways. Castellanos didn't have the best game of his season, but I think Florida was kind of looking ahead for this game, or Florida State was, and so I think I'm picking Florida State. I think they're a good football team. I think they were just kind of caught in a trap game.
As a coach, was that a catch in overtime?
No.
JC, I've watched your post over and over and over again. I'm a receiver. I was a receiver, coached receivers, and from the vantage point that I had, and watching it, and I watched it probably just as many times as you did, JC, I don't see how that's a catch.
The ball moves just ever so slightly as he steps out of the back of the end zone.
Ball is moving, and I don't think he has control. That's my thought. I have no say in the game. I think it took him 10 yards to get to that point because he started tipping it basically right at the goal line.
Yeah.
And so I think that may have had some. I don't think it really should, but you had 10 yards to catch it.
It was called a catch.
Yeah.
On the field. Mm-hmm. ACC,
great
job on the replay.
I love it.
I love getting that inside audio. That was awesome. SEC, do better. Better.
Because we were driving back from a Friday night football game, me and Taylor were, and we pulled up there just to watch basically the overtime because that's where it was. And I'm like, who's talking? I thought the people in the booth were just like talking about. They said, no, hey, let's go to the ACC review board and let's get live audio. So you had 2 guys in the booth, and you had the referee on the field, the white hat on the field, talking to each other, saying, hey, do you think it's a catch? I don't know. Maybe yeah, it's not a catch. So it's not like, hey, yeah, one guy says it's a catch, and the other 2 say no, and it's a yes. No, all 3 have to agree.
All 3 agreed.
All 3 agreed, no catch.
And even the official that does the announcing that they call on, even he said, there's just that slight ball movement because it's on his fingertips. He doesn't have it tucked away.
Which that don't make it a catch. As long as there's no movement, you can have it out here all day long as long as there's no ball movement.
Yeah.
And it was fingertipped when he stepped out.
So it is a tough. I agree with you, Cody. I think they got caught in a trap.
Mm-hmm.
Looking ahead, Miami, Florida State, but Virginia isn't. They're 3 now they're 4-1. So they haven't had. They've been very quiet. I haven't heard anything about Virginia this year. So, Tyler, who do you got?
So, I've only watched glimpses of Miami. We watched the Alabama-Florida State game. Their quarterback at Florida State talked a lot of smack beginning of the season, and he's backed it up pretty well about playing. And like Cody said, potential trap game, looking forward to Miami on a Friday night. But I think Miami wins this game. Like I said, I haven't watched much of Miami.
Going with Carson Beck.
I'm going with Carson Beck.
Okay.
And I think the spread's 6.5 going into Tallahassee this weekend. And I think, it's a 7:30 game at the Knolls, but I think Miami's got it.
And I know we're running a little long, but I want to stop and pause again. Listen, I'm sorry, ACC, you got it wrong. $50,000 fine for them storming the field while the player is still on the ground?
Yes.
Squirrel White is roadkill.
Mm-hmm.
You could. You see them stumbling over him.
They're literally
rushing the field. Now he made it back to the locker room. No injuries, nothing like that. But what is it going to take?
Yeah.
What is it like? Sweet, you want to rush the field?
Let the players have
player safety. It's got to be number one at this point, though.
19 people were injured.
19 people were injured. Yeah. I don't like it. ACC, $50,000. The SEC, you rush the field. Georgia saved Tennessee $500,000 a couple of weeks ago from storming the field. That's the fine in the SEC. ACC, you've got to step it up. Player safety is number one. It could have really seriously injured not only just Squirrel White, but you had a Virginia player down there on the field as well that they were tripping over. So it goes both ways.
And what was his name? Tommy Castellanos? Is that
Castellanos?
All right. So make sure I say that right. They were all up on him, and Mike couldn't even find the coach for Virginia. Like they were just like, all right, we can't do this. And
it was let me tell you something. As a fan, that was epic fan rushing. I get it.
Because they were already on the field.
The call hadn't even been made of an interception. And, as soon as that defender caught the ball, the fans were on the field. So, but anywho, Florida State, listen to me. You go and you beat Alabama. It wasn't a fluke. You're a good football team. You got caught up in a trap. Friday night, off your game. Gives you another day to get set. But who didn't play this weekend?
I don't think Miami played this weekend.
Miami did not play this weekend.
Nope.
Miami did not move in the rankings either. I'm sorry. Ohio State, you're not number one in my books. You're not. You beat Texas. I don't trust Texas. Sorry, Texas fans. But that's your marquee win and you're number one and you struggle. What was it? 14-6 going into the fourth quarter. You finally take off with it this weekend. Give me a break. Miami, you had a good season. Carson Beck is a Carson Beck from 2 years ago. He's got receivers. He's got talent on the outside. This is a tough game. This is a great game. This is why we're picking it. SEC podcast, going ACC. But by George, I think Florida State's got it. I think Florida State wins the ACC this year. I think Florida State makes it to the playoffs, which they were not able to 3 years ago. 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Yeah.
This is not the same 2-10 team that played last year. This is a Gus Malzahn offense that's going to beat Miami. This is a Castellanos who is going to probably throw for 250 yards and rush for another 70. He's going to have a game of his life. He's going to have a game of his life. But I think Florida State. Sorry, Joey. I love you, man. But it's at Florida State. And we know, as SEC fans, watching week 1, what happens at Florida State this year. It's loud. Their fans are warring. They are ready for this team to be relevant again. And for this game to be as big as it is after last season, I love it.
Yep.
I love it.
It's a fun one.
Guys, that's all the time we've got for this week. Next week, it's going to be me and Tyler and a guest. Cody's going to be at the beach.
Gulf Shores,
Alabama.
Alabama. I'll probably go get some rolls thrown at me.
At Lambert's.
Lambert's Cafe.
That's definite. At least once. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
Probably going to go hit the hangout. Probably go see
Lulu's.
Go to Lulu's.
Yeah.
What else we got down there? Anything else we need to go down there and see?
What's the?
It's been a long time.
What's the one on the pier
Bama
right
Beach
there?
Bum.
Yeah.
You know,
It's been a while since I've been down there, so I'm excited.
What's the
Taking the
restaurant
family
on-
down there, so we're gonna go down there for fall break.
What's the restaurant on the pier?
Sea and Suds.
Seeing Suds. Brent will definitely want something back from there.
So, guys, thank you so much for watching. We are having such a good time bringing you this content. Once again, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Give us a follow on our social media pages. And leave us a comment. We want to hear from you, and we want to interact with you any way that we can. So whether you're watching it through YouTube or follow us on Facebook or X, we want to hear from you. We want to conversate with you. But as always, it's been fun. It's been real. And every day is Saturday on Longest Lane. Hope you all have a great day.